Hello and welcome to Life Under Lockdown. This day today, we're going way across the Atlantic and way across flyover country in America to the West Coast, San Diego, where we're interviewing the founder of Modern Catholic Pilgrim, Will Peterson. So welcome, Will.
Thank you, John. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so you obviously, this is the first I've actually heard about this great idea that you've come up with, being the founder of this movement. What is it you're actually doing over there?
So we're trying to make walked pilgrimage more accessible to people here in the United States and really engaging young adults, but just knowing that pilgrimage is an ancient tradition in all the world religions and one of the earliest traditions of the Catholic Church, where basically from the point of Christ's resurrection, people were traveling to sites connected with his life, death, and resurrection. We just feel that you see the people doing the Camino. Obviously there's always interest in going to the Holy Land and going to Rome, but a lot of people don't have the opportunity for that. And then there's something about walked pilgrimage, instead of kind of the tour bus, site to site. So we started in 2017 and we've been growing ever since and are in the midst of our most exciting project to date, which is trying to get creative with this whole lockdown situation with the coronavirus and seeking 300 pilgrimages for Mary in the month of May. And so people have signed up over 30 states in the United States, Canada, Australia, hopefully Scotland at some point, to go on pilgrimage just wherever they are to, a local church or statue of Mary, even into the backyard, just to offer up their prayers. And I really think it's going to do a lot of good as people kind of offer to Mary. Certainly she knows all that we're experiencing right now, but it's been a blessing in my life to engage people in what pilgrimage is and also hospitality, because our multi-day pilgrimages, people stay with hosts from local parishes along the way, just open their homes, we break bread together, really a beautiful experience as well.
That's amazing. It seems that you've really got a good, unique idea there to, inspire people to see pilgrimage in a different light. One of the things that's interested me about this is you're talking about lockdown situations and you're talking about people's homes and entering people's homes. How are your pilgrimages working through the lockdown regulations in California?
Right. So we'll have to, moving forward, we're going to have to adjust maybe, and it's going to be something that will be, take some time probably to come back to doing those. So that's where right now it's, encouraging people to go on pilgrimage wherever they are without necessarily staying in homes. But I think, once we get a better sense of what's going on here, and I think people will be open to it, but obviously we're very respectful and we encourage people when they do these pilgrimages to respect the social distancing and all those things. But so yes, we have not hosted overnight pilgrimages since the beginning of the coronavirus.
So for those of you who are watching are not maybe familiar what a pilgrimage is, what in essence is the Catholic understanding of a pilgrimage?
So we use a definition from a German Catholic theologian of the 20th century, Iso Baumer, and he said a pilgrimage is when a person, or more typically a group, goes to a chosen site to bring to God and the saints at that site prayers and intentions, and then they return home to everyday life. And we add return home changed, with the idea that you go on pilgrimage, you bring those prayers, you encounter the risen Christ, you're going to come back to your community changed in some way. And how do you bring that change into the community? So for us, that's where I also like that definition a lot, because here in the United States, Christ obviously, his ministry didn't take place here. We don't have any apostles.
Don't tell the Mormons.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. Unless you were Mormon. Exactly that. And so for us, I like that because it's this idea, it doesn't have to be, and sorry, my internet's not always the strongest.
Oh, you're okay. Don't worry. Keep on going. I can still hear you, but I can't see you.
Yeah. So you choose the site. So for us, we go to a mission church named for St. Louis for his feast day. You go to a church for Mary, for a Marian. So there's just that idea of it. And it's so important. What we tell our pilgrims is, you have to carry intentions. You have to have intentions. Otherwise, it's not a pilgrimage.
Absolutely. And what I'm doing just now is because your camera's blacked out, maybe it's a distance involved.
Yeah.
I'm putting on some images from your website.
Okay, thank you. I'll try and get it going again.
Yeah, so it's to show the kind of overview of what you do. What sort of sites in particular in California would be most associated with pilgrimage sites for Catholics?
Right. So California, we're fortunate because the Franciscan friars, really led by Saint Junipero Serra, he was recently canonized within the last 5 years or so. They founded Catholic missions all along kind of the coast here in California to evangelize the American Indians, and that was back in the 18th century. And so some of the oldest really Catholic churches, certainly on the West Coast, and so we walk from mission to mission, and that can be a good experience, especially because you get to walk along the coast, you got the ocean going, very kind of, it can be very scenic at the same time. So California, we're blessed with that. Elsewhere, we've gone to basilicas, we've gone to shrines, a couple monasteries, and brought people there. And it's nice when we get to the monastic places, because then you get especially young people who maybe aren't familiar with the life of monks and nuns who live contemplative lives. It opens that up to them as well.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting me is what's the sort of format that you have for people who sign up? Do they get a pack? Do they get a prayer resource? What sort of thing do they have to do when they sign up with Modern Catholic?
Yeah, so we work in a couple different areas. One is we put together pilgrimages ourselves and say, all right, we are walking for the Feast of St. Louis. We are walking to the mission, here in California, these 3 days. You're welcome, who wants to join us? And we get, 10, 15 people. And then, so I would be the leader of the pilgrimage and kind of impart some of the knowledge that I've been able to acquire along the way, and some of the experience, and sort of help guide the people through how we pray together as we move. And yeah, we'd have a prayer guide. We would have information for them on what to carry. I connect them with the host. So those are one of our major aspects of kind of putting together pilgrimages where we have a leader of them. But like for right now, for instance, with people just choosing to go wherever they are, we send them, a short little 5-step how to go on pilgrimage in the Catholic tradition, common prayers that would be prayed, because like it's been fascinating for me to learn about the Psalms and how there's pilgrimage Psalms, because the Jews, so Christ would have been a pilgrim to Jerusalem. Like it's really cool. So praying a psalm when you start, and then praying a nice prayer to Mary along the way, praying the Rosary, obviously. So if we're leading it, we're there, but we're also willing to kind of run logistics. And so yeah, we would send you your prayer packet. I have a handbook that I've put together. A lot of that is the spiritual side, but also the physical side. Like you're going to get blisters, it's going to hurt. Here's what you can do to kind of offset some of that. And the suffering, it's redemptive. So I think there's a decent aspect that I tell people, have intentions. And then especially for the multi-day ones, you're going to suffer at least at some point. Don't let that be the end all to your pilgrimage experience. Don't let that be, what makes you holy. Just accept that that's part of it, offer it up, and keep moving.
Wow. I mean, I think you really are on trend with a growing interest in these sort of home pilgrimages, we can call them that. I think nowadays, with the global pandemic that we're now facing, right, I think people will be limited in the travel they can do in the next months, certainly the next years, maybe perhaps. So certainly it's good that you're encouraging these local trips. And certainly Scotland have you ever been to Scotland before on your trips abroad?
I never made it into Scotland. I had some family in Bath, and so I visited them a couple times, but never into Scotland, unfortunately.
Because there's so many, England and Ireland too, there's so many sites associated with saints, Celtic saints, and the Celtic Church, in the sort of 600, 700, so many amazing sites that people don't know about, because a lot of them were destroyed during the Reformation. The ruins are still there in the bushes and the trees. So maybe this sort of idea you're sort of piloting here is something that could be adapted to the Scottish market, certainly.
Yeah, I enjoyed seeing a couple of the videos. You guys highlighted pilgrimage for St. Margaret. That seems to be a great tradition there in Scotland. And St. John Ogilvie is actually a saint. I told my children in my class, in my Catholic school, I'll tell them about certain saints from time to time. And I really have connected with him, and so I was passing that along. Yeah. I know you guys do pilgrimage for him as well. So I agree. I think these domestic ones are just a tremendous opportunity. And a nice thing right now is it's pretty easy to socially distance yourself on pilgrimage. Just stay 6 feet apart and walk together.
Oh yeah, exactly. I know. So if people want to sort of link up with yourselves and get more information from yourselves, what's the best way to go about that, Will?
Yeah, so our website is moderncatholicpilgrim.com, and we have all our contact information there, and you can get right to me, and I'll get you whatever you need, and happy to work with people. But we're real excited. We're working on different shrines here, different churches, working around feast days for patron saints, and but it's been a great opportunity, and again, really excited about this 300 pilgrimages for Mary. We're at about 250 completed or scheduled at this point. And so I think we'll get to our goal, which is exciting for us. But it's been cool to kind of see. I put it on a Google map on our website where people have signed up, and the dots are starting to kind of fill, which is really a great testament to our Blessed Mother.
Wow, well, I wish you all the very best and continued prayers for the success of your initiative. It's going to grow, I think, and certainly by turning to our Blessed Mother, then you can't go wrong. So by all means, keep updating us with what's going on, keep informing us what's going on. We're happy to share out anything you're doing across there in San Diego.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and thank you for your guys' ministry there in Scotland, and for really bringing to light what the Catholic Church does all across the world. It's really a phenomenal experience for all of us to kind of, that universal church is something I love so much.
Amen. Well, thank you very much for your time, Will, and have a lovely day teaching your class in San Diego.
Yeah, thank you very much, John. I appreciate it. Yeah, enjoy the rest of yours.
God bless.